My wife doesn't need a ring to show her that I'm married to her.
Oh, I can't wait to ask her.
We're all connected.
I'm like Pete, I don't need to show a ring to show my love.
Oh, so you just copy what Pete says?
No, I just show it by action. I just show it by action.
What action?
Show me, baby girl, just don't. You already know that. So just tell me how bad you really. Show me, baby girl, just don't. You already know that.
What's up, boys? What's going on?
Scooty Usos. Good to be back, man.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Just sitting there.
Just chilling, innit?
What another week, man. What another week. I thought I'll just open this up today. And today's subject that I want to talk about is life challenges. Open question. What is a life challenge? Kaboosh.
Life challenges. Family could be a challenge, although they're a massive blessing. There could be a challenge. So in 40 terms.
Family, what, like wife, kids?
Wife and kids.
Both.
Mainly wife, sometimes. But I love you. I got my ring on, so I love you, honey.
You got my
So
But,
if you got a ring on, does it mean you're a lover?
I can't. It symbolises that. So if you don't have your ring, what does that mean?
Well, you signed a
really made a
certificate.
covenant, you know?
Yeah.
Everyone in this room, put your hand up if you got your ring on.
Got my ring. I love my wife.
Well, my wife doesn't need a ring to show her that I'm married to her.
Oh,
I can't wait to ask her.
We're all connected.
I'm like Pete, I don't need to show a ring to show my love.
Oh, so you just copy what Pete says?
No, I just show it by action. I just show it by action.
What action?
Huh?
What action?
Yo, show me.
Is it a challenge, that action? Life challenge?
Oh, it can be, depending if you make it a challenge.
No, my big one is my family, my communication with my wife. I guess when you talk about 40, finding that balance, which is a challenge on, trying to be the best that you can be on the rugby field, and then coming back and giving your all to your family, which can be challenging.
For me, it's just adversity and challenges and opposition that you face every day. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's family, rugby, whatever it is, right? Every day you're going to get faced with something, and it's how we react to them situations, right? Things that we can control. For me, that's we all know that life's not linear. It's like a roller coaster. It goes up, goes down. That's for me. Just waking up every day and just attacking life and facing what comes.
What challenge? What strategy could you give when a life challenge is in front of you, or when you're in that challenge?
For me,
what are key things that you could do?
For me,
what do you do?
For me, the question I have to ask myself is it controllable, right? Is the situation that's happening in my control, right? Because I firmly believe, right, life is 10% what happens to you, and 90% the way we respond to it, right? Like we can't always control what happens to us, right? But we can always control how we respond, how we react to the situation, right? And me adapting that method, that theory, has helped me overcome most setbacks that I've come across in sport or in my life in general. Right, moments, down moments, it's just a moment, right? It's gonna pass at some point, right? Funerals, we all lose loved ones, we have families who lose jobs, we might lose a job, but to me, that doesn't give us an excuse to quit. It doesn't give us a reason to fold, right? Because whether you're gonna decide to quit when you hit something, life's gonna go on no matter what, right? It's just gonna continue without you if you don't wanna go with it, right? So why not just roll with the punches until you get through? That's me.
When you said react, is there any way that you could be prepared so you don't have to react? It's more of, I was ready for it, just fix this because something's on your mouth. But you're speaking fire, so I didn't want to tell you.
Oh, I saw it as well.
What a sad.
That's a great example of
It's good for the viewers.
Bro, you two can see it too. So it's on that side.
In the coach's office.
I can't control what he says. He's a good example. I can't control what comes out of his mouth, but I can react to it. That was silly, sweet.
The camera's gonna see.
It's good for the viewers.
Bro, didn't even say anything.
We're meant to have each other's backs. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
Sorry, can you repeat your question again? 'Cause
Environment, eh? You want the right environment to tell he's got something there, eh? It's right next to him.
But he's whispering in my ears.
yeah,
Look at
it's
that
alright.
thing on his
It's
chin.
alright. Do your own, eh? Be you. Do you?
Nah, reactive.
Yeah.
Instead of being reactive to a challenge, is there a way to be prepared for it? Say like, when you're in that kind of space, it's like, I was ready for this. Can you ever be ready?
Unless you know what you're about to go in, right? Because life just things happen unexpectedly, right?
Can you give us a story, like an example? Sorry.
Well, let's go with my throat, right? There was no way I knew it was going to happen, right? Got elbowed in the throat, went to hospital, choked on my own blood, and so I went to the CAT scan, right? And I was, by this time when I went to the CAT scan, I was all good. Like, my mum just dropped me off. She was going home, right? Got into the CAT scan, stopped breathing, right? And I just remember like, fuck, something's wrong here. Like, this is not meant to happen, right? I think 20 seconds went past, still couldn't breathe. That's when I started panicking and saying, nah, this is not right. Climbed out, started banging my chest, crying, and I said, I'm dead. Like, do you know what I mean? Fuck, I'm gone here. I remember the nurses trying to hold me down. Last thing I know is trying to throw them off, and then that's it. Woke up in a room with, I remember waking up in the room, blood all over my top, and a bandage on my throat, and I couldn't speak. But after that, right, I couldn't control that. Do you know what I mean? There's no way I could have expected that to happen, but then the choice was, do I learn something from this? Can I use this in a positive way? And which I decided to do, right? I started to realize life's too short, fucking live in every moment.
When you said that was it, did you actually like die for amount of like 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
I just blanked out. I think I basically just died.
Do you reckon? Yeah, so you would have died.
Yeah.
And then
like
you came back.
The surgeon was downstairs and he wasn't meant to be there.
Yeah.
He was meant to be upstairs doing my room, but he just decided to come. So if he wasn't there, because the nurses weren't allowed to cut my throat open and do the surgery on the spot.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Only the surgeon can do that. So it was lucky he came down. Otherwise, I would have been gone. But it's things like that. Like you can't. I feel like life is like a test, right? Okay, you won't know the answers until after the test is done.
It's done.
Right? That's the way I look at it. Right? It's the hardest teacher, right? You don't get the lessons until after you've basically stuffed up or whatever. Right?
Respect the lesson, eh?
Respect the lesson. That's it.
Lesson.
I love that, control the controllables and leveraging from your pain or life challenges, eh? That's pretty deep, and I love how you shared that, because we all go through life challenges, eh? When you talk about how you react to things, like life's gonna knock us down whether we like it or not. And I shared last week, like I know we were joking around, but it doesn't matter how big you are, how strong or smart you are, you're gonna get knocked down. Like you didn't expect to get knocked down, eh?
No, I was pretty strong back then too.
You're pretty big too.
But it's that, hey, because you mentioned you can leverage from it.
Yeah.
Now it's become your strength and you can share that. And you talked about tests. That becomes your testimony now, that you can go, when you go to schools, it gives you something, to speak, something that you've overcome. So when you look at challenges that way, like I love how you do it, that's something that I take away as well, as like life's all about perspective as well. And there's things that, we can't control, that's out of our control. But what I look at it as well is like, you mentioned it last week, Pete, is like when something happens, you can reframe that happened to you from this happened for me. Because now you've got a bigger
100%.
message now that you can go to schools now
Yeah.
and show, and I'm just talking about kids in school, but in life in general, you can go, man, don't take life for granted. I nearly lost mine. I wouldn't be where I'm at now. You know, it's just that message, that pain, that life challenge that you go through. And I know a lot of the times, as I'm speaking on, on myself, we try and avoid the challenges, but it's where the challenges are that make that character.
Yeah.
So when I face it now, it's like I consider it pure joy. You know, when you go through different kind of trials, because when you persevere and refuse to give up, like you, you come, like your character's more stronger, foundations ready to go, not only on the field but off the field, and you become with a resilient mindset. So,
well, I feel like it's part of our process, right? We have to go through it. Everyone wants the reward, right? But they're not willing to go through the process, right? To get to that reward, and for that reward to feel like it should be to you, have to go through it, right? That's the way I see it. But yeah, I think reacting is the one thing we can control in every situation, and I think it's very important in life and in sport as well. Do you know what I mean? What about you guys?
No, I was just thinking when you say the word reacting and proactive. So in rugby league, we try to be proactive. We try and know what they're going to do before they come and get us, you know? And it's hard to do that in life, hey? To know what life's going to bring to you, so you're ready for its challenge. Can you relate that both to rugby and life?
I think the difference in rugby is we study to know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where most things in life we don't know what's going to happen, but with the reaction bit, it's more for the unexpected.
Yeah.
Right. But on the field, the reaction is when we make a mistake. Right. How long are you going to stand there kicking stones for until you decide that it's gone, then to move on to the next job? Right. Jumping back on the horse. Obviously, respect the lesson, but the longer you spend down there, right, it just means that you're wasting more time moving on and getting on with it.
Do you think you learned that lesson with the story you told us, and that's why you can move on fast?
I think with the suicide, when me going through my suicide helped me be able to react to certain situations a lot easier. It's hard to, like, my mindset's pretty good. Like, it's hard to rattle me, like, at this stage of my life, only because what I've been through. It's just made me stronger, basically.
So you know how you talk about, like, because that's pretty significant what you went through, but about not everyone goes through, like something like that. How about the little challenges, life challenges that you go through as a rugby player or just as a person, where you get dropped one week, or you need to find the balance where you're not giving all your attention to your family when you finish rugby. What would you do or say to kind of help someone and give advice to someone that's going through all those little challenges, life challenges, that may built up into one be massive?
For me, it's you're not the only one that's going through it. Everyone's going through it, right? In some stage of their life, or they're about to go through it. Open up and see every setback as a setup for a better comeback, right? There's always, we all know one of my lines, respect the lesson, right? In every mistake, there's something to learn. In every failure, there's something to learn. In every opportunity to grow, there's something to learn. Right? Always take something positive out of a negative situation.
I like how you said every setbacks for a better comeback. Is that it? So the reason why I'm asking about proactive is when I look at life challenges, I look at it in a way that I try and prepare myself mentally for problems to come. And I don't know if this is going to help anyone out there, but I have a morning routine that I do religiously, because I know if I do these things in the morning, I know whatever comes to me now, I'm prepared. And I know there's obviously big things that you know that's going to hurt you, like family and stuff. And then I know there's minor things that should rattle you, but because you've got a solid foundation of your morning routine or whatever you do in the morning, it kind of proactive instead of reactive.
Get you going.
You know what I mean? So for me, I'm massive on personal development.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I give myself my own time in the mornings. And that's my thing, mornings. I wake up before everyone in my family and I'm getting my mindset. And we use the thing called savers, you know? And savers, first is silence. So I give the silence to myself, and everyone's a bit different, but mine is prayer. 2 1-minute prayer. Then you got affirmations. I say positive things in my head, getting out of bed. I say stuff that makes me feel good. I say stuff that I know that I know I do good. And then I go into V. I visualize my actions out there in the community, or I visualize my experiences that I'm gonna have. And then I also, you go to E, which is exercise. I like to do something physical to get the mind, the body moving. And then you got your R, your reading, and then you got your S, and that's scribble, savers. But I just think all that, those 7 things, if I can get those 7 ticks in the morning, I'm ready for my day.
Yep.
And when life challenges start to come in, it is a big deal, don't get me wrong, but it's something that I know I can handle.
So the question for you, from me, is then what happens if you get challenged during that routine or process?
Well,
Does it rattle you?
Nah, it doesn't, because some of the 7 steps only take 7 seconds sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some of the, it can take 7 seconds, it can take 7 minutes. But it's all about getting the first thought of your mind to yourself. You got to love yourself before you can love someone else. And if you know who you are and what you're doing in your life and your purpose, then life challenges are going to come, no, like you said. But then unless you know, okay, well, that is really bad, but I know I stand for something. I know I'm a father to my kids. I know people are relying on me. I can't get down on this. How do we attack it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
So it's a different mindset coming into your challenge.
You make a good point, because I had no routine whatsoever until you mentioned that to me. So for me, that kind of helped me as well, like finding your routine in the morning and, setting up for the day. Like, win the morning, win the day, king of the year. And he's right in a way. And it might not work for everyone, but I found that it worked for me. I never used to read until he approached me with a book called Can't Hurt Me, Samuel and David Goggins. And, and that's what kind of kick-started like my journey on, we spoke about the last episode on what to do outside of rugby. That kind of kick-started my journey. And I think if you can find a routine where you wake up, whether it's meditation or whatever you enjoy or whatever you think that helps you, I think that's a big step into helping, deal with the challenges that come at you.
This is why I mean about like reacting. Like, let's say you can't get your morning routine done, then what? Like this is why I was trying to ask Jess.
Yeah.
Do you get rattled by that? What happens if you don't win the morning? You can still win the day, 100%. But then are you like, because a routine is good there, is good for you there because it keeps you right in a like a straight line kind of thing. You know your process. But let's say, I don't know, do you have a pre-game meal that you always have to eat?
I used to be like that, but not anymore. Not anymore, because I know if I need to eat a certain amount and whatever it is, then I'm fine. But I think it just goes back to, if you don't get it that day, then make sure you don't miss it again. Yeah. If you don't miss back to back, because that's the big thing. Don't miss twice.
I think with your one, right, like the routine, right, is like, I say you get the 7 ticks, you've got a miracle morning, right? Yeah. But I feel like if you do one of that routine, something in your body clicks, like, bang, I'm on here. You know what I mean? And for me, one of my main things that makes me click is the moment I get out of bed, I've got to have 2 feet hit the floor. And then straight away, without even a routine, when I hit the floor, I'm already grateful. I'm alive. I've got life. I hit the floor, I know I'm ready to attack this day. So straight away, if I don't do the whole routine, the moment I get out of bed, bang, and I'm like, boom, I'm alive. Let's go.
Because I know you would agree with me that it's not the strongest that survive in life, right? It's the most adaptable. That's similar to what I mean by reacting.
Yeah.
Right? You might have a routine, you might have something you do consistently, but if it doesn't come off like that, that's what I mean by reaction. Do you get rattled, or can you find a way to keep staying in the same energy? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you only work on the days you feel like working, right, you won't get much done. Do you understand? What do you think, Sui, about adapting and life challenges?
Yeah, makes total sense what you guys are covering. I think you touched on like an important one. You got to love yourself first before you could love others, or hey, you can't give from an empty cup or empty well. So that first, like, it makes sense what you're saying, like that morning routine, and you know, you touched on it, but I think any routine, you know, that because systems is what separates everyone from extraordinary to the ordinary. And systems, routines, it's like you see people that are successful, they have things in place. So it's just wisdom to why try and do something else when the system's already there. So, you know, you talk about that foundation part, the small things end up being the big things. So when you touched on that, the small challenges, if you can take care of the small things right from the beginning, morning routine, you win your day, and the small things end up being the big things. And you know, it goes to what you're saying, Pete. Like when you look after that stuff and take ownership of that, and you can get them small wins in the morning or wherever it may be. You know, when life challenges do come, you know, you're ready to take it full on. And for me, I just look at it differently now. I consider it a blessing, because you touched on it as well. Like every trial or every life challenges that come you on the other side of that is a blessing. It's an opportunity to grow. Hey, so when you see it that way, it's like sometimes for me it's like it's when you feel that resistance or that push, it's not that I'm on the wrong path. It's like I'm actually on the right path here. You know, because there's no growth zone in the comfort zone. So when you're
Can you say that again, please?
So there's no growth zone in the comfort zone, and there's no comfort zone in the growth zone.
There, mate.
So whenever you know you're taking that step out of your comfort zone, you know, we all know it's going to be hard, it's going to be tough. But when you're in that, you know, when you take that step out, and when you can get used to it, you know, it goes back to, you know, our Pete's question is that if something didn't go right, you know, or plan, or you know, your routine, that's when the compound effect kicks in there. If you're doing it over 100 or half a year, or you know, you can afford, because your habits already kicked in, you're already stacked up.
I like it.
So it's like you already put, you know, your bank, you already invested in your bank,
Because like a big one for me is like your character is shown when you hit adversity. For me, right? Everyone can do everything good when everything's going your way, right? But when you get hit by adversity, that's when your character gets challenged. Because we're not born with character; it's not inherited to us by our family, right? You're not born and the nurse goes, "Oh, he's character, Pete. You can take it to the world." Right? Character is when you wake up every day, like I said, with a routine. You build on it, you work on it, right? And that's what helps you when you face adversity, right? A man's not judged by in times of convenience or when things are easy, right? We're all judged by when we are challenged with adversity and opposition. Right? That's how I look at it, which is where I feel like I can handle a lot of things that don't go my way a lot. But like I said, maybe it's just because of where I've come from and what I've been through. I mean, growing through what I've been through, and which is why I'm so passionate about sharing my story, sharing my experiences, which is why we jumped on this to share where we've all been through. So then, you know, the next generation or people who are struggling now don't have to make the same mistakes as us.
100%. That's it, man.
I love that.
It's powerful, man.
I feel like this is for another episode in, you know, trying to like make our kids avoid them mistakes or anything like that.
Because I was just going to say that too.
When they go through them challenges, like you said, the lessons are lessons, and we can view it that way and have that perspective about it. It's like, bro, bring it on, because that's what's going to make you that character, and it's all part of character building. Every day, you know, you face challenges.
It's hard like, because when you brought up with less, you try and give your kids everything. But then you don't know
you're stealing them from the lessons.
You're hiding them from the challenges that they should be going through. Which is a tough thing as a parent. And how do you police it? You know, but at the same time, man, you have to let your kids make mistakes.
100%. I don't know how you think, but I think the same way. Like, if your kids trip over, right, let them go for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we keep trying to, that's just a challenge in itself, a life challenge as a parent, right? Watching our kids fall, getting hurt, right, letting them go through it, right, is only going to do them good, right? Trying to pick them up every time and baby them, right? They're going to one day grow up and keep expecting it. But yeah, like you said, it is a good topic for next time.
But I feel like even what you're touching on there is like one thing I've taken away from that as well. Like, I remember this, I think it was a few months ago, and the young one, Azza, and he hit his knee, fell down on the ground, scraped his knee, and he was crying. And instead of like picking up, like said, let him cry, I just gave him some tools. And I says, look at me here. Start breathing in. And he just done 3 breaths. I was just trying it, eh? So I've been doing some breathing. I was just doing it was funny. You know when you talk about morning routine?
Wow.
I was just doing some breathing myself because I know, like, you know what it's like on the field day, the first 5-10 minutes.
So what happened if it didn't work? What happened if it didn't work? What was your reaction?
My
What were you gonna do?
my whole reasoning behind it was like I was trying to get him focused because like one of the things that I've learned and I try and teach this to my son is like because you know he's 13 now, he's playing. A lot of times he goes, oh, I'm tired, I can't do it. But I always try and change his perspective. And I goes, look, if I had a gun to your mother's head and I told you if you don't play 80 minutes full, kick pressure, 10 kick, you know, I want 10 kick pressure, I want effort on effort.
You say this
Mum
while he's
does.
on the field?
No. We have a conversation, you know? This is where it's coming from. And he goes, yeah, because your wire is bigger, eh?
Yeah.
Because I say, look, if mum's on the other side of the building, 50 stories up, I was going to say $20 to cross this plank. Are you going to do it? I said, no. So what happens if, you know, if mum's on the other side now? Are you gonna do it? He goes, yeah, no, there's no doubt I'm gonna cross that plank, get her, bring her back. 50 stories up. What's changed is the why. So for me, I was just trying to teach him to change that perspective. So when son was falling down crying, I was like, don't focus on, because it comes down to what you focus on. If you can just change it, that, boom, got him to that. We was just thinking now, just gave him some tools and it worked for him. So then for me, now and then when they cry or they're just crying, but you just got to change their focus, if that makes sense. And that's for me as well. When I'm going through hardship, I was going, where's my focus at? And that's where gratitude comes in for me, because gratitude's been a good tool for me. So, you know, you touched on it, and this is going a little bit deep. When someone dies in the family, it's not a time for me to, you know, break down and you know, my world's over. It's like, man, how can I represent, how can I get my uncle or my auntie to, you know, how can I live, what traits, you know, do I remember them by? How can I live that? And how can I portray that on the field and off the field? You know, the time to celebrate that memory, that connection I had. So that's just me. That's my experience. Yeah. That's how I dealt with it. So.
The one thing, you know, with, like I keep going back to us being Polynesians, and the way we grew up, the way we were raised by our parents. But with me, like we're always being told, you know, don't answer back to your parents. You know, make sure you're showing that you're always strong, no weakness. But with that, like one of the challenges, I wasn't able to, if I had something wrong, go and talk to my dad. You know, I wasn't comfortable enough with the relationship I had with my dad or my mum to then go and talk to them about stuff that was wrong. So for me, with my kids, I want that to fully change. I want my kids to be able to if something was wrong, if something was bothering them, they'll be comfortable enough to come and talk to me about it. And that, I guess, that's another challenge, life challenge that I'm facing. I guess we're all facing as parents, that, you know, we don't want our kids to suffer alone. You know, we want them to be comfortable enough to come and talk to us if there's a problem. That way we can comfort them and kind of guide them.
Did you talk to siblings though?
My older brother's the one I looked up to.
Yeah.
So he was my.
You tell him?
Yeah. So
I think that's special in itself as well. You know, I know you couldn't talk to your dad, but siblings are important as well, eh?
But say that. But as a parent though, right? As a father, do you want your kids to talk to the siblings, or come to you as a parent with the experience that you have in life, and so you can pass on, you know, guidance to them?
I'd like that he would go. Oh, my kid will go to her sister. Like JJ go to Kamani.
Yeah.
I'd like that, because that bond of brother and sister is bigger. And then when they can't solve it, come to me. But obviously, I do want them to come to me. Yeah. But I feel like that's special too. Like you can't break that. You know.
You want them to do it by choice, right? Not because he's only going to go talk to Kamani because he can't talk.
He was
to you.
better. It was a better option for him to go there. Okay. Because sometimes I feel like they ask you, and I can't fix everything for you in your life. You know. And Kamani might have the answer better than me. But if they both can't, then I'd like, okay, Dad, we both have this problem, you know? Yeah. But I think what you have was special as well. Because I didn't have a brother or sister to talk like that because I'm the eldest.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
Oh,
saying
okay.
it. And I had cousins,
Yeah.
and I talked to my cousins. Do you know what I mean? And it's not that my dad wasn't open to talk about this, but I just didn't feel like Dad was the man to talk
Yeah.
about it with. That's where I'm coming from. I was the eldest, so I don't know who would your brother, probably your oldest.
Yeah, well,
Ah,
I guess
he'd probably come
it'll
to
just
you.
it'll just be cousins, eh?
Yeah.
Like, because when we talk about family, we don't just talk about our immediate family.
Nah,
We
it's
talk about
larger, yeah.
all our cousins and our aunties. So just an older cousin that you can go talk to.
Or an auntie.
Yeah.
So any aunties out there, cousins, know you got a job. Know you got a job. There's always someone to help, check in with your cousins and that. You never know what they're going through. Siblings, uncle, auntie. Even though you're a young nephew or niece, you could always bless someone that's older than you.
100%.
That's a big one, what you mentioned as well, like being as parents, because we're all fathers here.
Yeah.
But I feel like there definitely has to be a trust there, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
Because, and I love my dad as well. And
Oh,
I feel like
100%.
growing up, he just done something that his father, just following the cycle, and he didn't know how to communicate or affirmation, or
Yeah.
he didn't know how to be that bridge to talk.
Yeah.
Hey, son, it's all right to talk about your
Yeah.
problems. Well, that's one of the biggest lessons now, that I know that our kids are probably more likely to get advice from a third party more
Yeah.
than us as parents. So it's good, like, what you brought up. And if we can, you talked about environment last week, eh?
Yeah.
If we can just have that environment, build that good environment,
Yeah.
and try and be normal for our kids to go out and get third party like advice or mentorship or.
So I'm in a really good position because my son's 18, and like you talk about getting advice, like he can get advice from any one of you. So you're talking about a good environment. Like if he wants to succeed as a professional rugby player, then you got the tools in front of you with you guys. So I'm just grateful, being so far away from family back home, that you guys are here, and I can reach out whenever I want if I got any problems, and I hope you all feel the same way as well.
Got yours.
Yeah.
Got you, bro.
Must have sort of.
Just on that, we're running low on time, so I looked at my. Right, so I want to cut it off with an assist. I want to run it back to Sui talking about perception. I firmly believe perception runs your performance every day of the week. The way you view what you do will always affect what you do.
So just tell me how bad you really. Show me, baby girl, just don't.